G'day, I'm coming to you, talking to you today. Like as you can see, I'm just about to have my dinner. It's important to eat healthy. We've got some chicken soup here, heaps of turmeric, beans, corn, curry powder, carrot, pumpkin, peas, chickpeas, all good stuff. So yeah, today I was out on my travels. I'm doing some work on one of my vans. And I had to put the exhaust manifold back on. And the turbo. I've never done nothing with turbo before, but it's pretty basic. You just got to bolt it on, I guess. Make sure everything's airtight. And I had trouble trying to find spaces, washers. I lost one of them somewhere. I don't know where it is under there. When I took the manifold off, took the washers and the nuts off, and there was a spacer behind the washer. I've got most of them. I'm missing one, and I think they'll all better be the same size. We had the same nuts, same washers. I don't think the washer's that important, but yeah, probably should be the same. At least it should be the same washer. Just so that when it heats up, all the nuts, bolts, washers and spacers, all the nuts, washers and spacers expand at the same rate. I don't know how much. Probably have put more stress on the studs more than anything. But I understand a foot-pounds. We've got to do 30 foot-pounds per fucking per stud, and then 180 degrees after that. So that's all coming together okay. Information-wise, I bought a manual, mechanics look up an online manual. I had to get a virtual operating system, so I've got Windows XP for a virtual machine. Then I had to download this file that opens in the virtual machine to have a manual I could read from what I've got to do for my van. You know, like torque settings, how to get to things, how to check things, what codes are. But yeah, that cost me about $36, as opposed to the actual book, which was about $90. So I took the cheap way out, and yeah, when I was changing over my hard drive to a solid state hard drive, I lost it. So yeah, but I wouldn't advise buying an online manual. I tried all the different sites, different ways of trying to download it. But for my crappy Kia van, piece of cake, easy. Got that on a disc. Somebody had taken photos or scanned all the pages from a manual and put it on eBay, so $12. So the Kia was easy, cheap, simple. But yeah, Volkswagen's a different story. But it's a better van, much better, so far as options go anyway. Heated seats, It's just a better man. But one of the other things what I wanted to set a video today for was because there's so many people who are playing games with my mind. But looking around in the world, it's like everybody knows about global warming, pandemics, everything else, but everybody's just going along doing their normal thing. Same old thing, nothing's changed. Just trying to get it back to the way it was. And the reality is, I think it's 15 years left. My life. That's what I was going to say, the planet, but yeah, the planet in my life. But that's the problem. I'm being able to sustain life. This planet, I don't really know. But I think that people who do know aren't saying much. There's a plan is, I think they're going into space. But so many movies have shown us. It's interesting to think about the inspiration people get from movies. Things like Star Trek and all these things. I mean, you watch them and you just know, it looks utter crap, man. There's no gravity in space to just walk around. There's the confinement in there. It's like, even if it was a massive space station, like a Borg space station from Star Trek, got Borgs. There was a space station on one of them big cube things. It would still be one person per like 45 square meters. I mean, how compact is that? I think it'd be a special skill to be able to live in that kind of confinement. I couldn't do it. But yeah, I guess there'll be ways I find to keep you occupied, entertained, give you virtual reality to make you think that will make your brain think there's more space. Yeah, I don't think it will get that far myself. I mean, to be optimistic, I think that life goes beyond what flesh and blood we've got here. It definitely goes on forever. I mean, I've seen things that can be explained by the Bible. I like to explain it by the Bible, but you've got people like Aleister Crowley and others who do the demonology bit, and it's nothing new. They've been doing it for a long, long time, using people to manipulate people remotely so that you can't get in trouble for it. It's not like you're being unfair. It's like somebody's pulling the strings of a puppet, and the person you're manipulating with the demonology is the puppet. Um, um, to say for the people that use it, they know the roots of it and what kind of people invented it, and what, what they did to program people for use in it. I think that will be a little bit. They'll be a bit. I think they'll be shocked. Yeah, I think they'll be shocked. Demonology is not an easy thing to deal with. If someone's using it on you, very difficult to fight against it on your own. It's definitely easier in a group. I mean, I would like to go to church, but went to church once, and then these women came in there with their tops off. So the people that use that want to manipulate people, there's virtually nothing they won't do to take control of somebody that they want. So yeah, I mean, how important is the person they want? I mean, they've got to work that out for themselves. What kind of and the victim too needs to be able to look at it like, look how many people is involved in it, or just one person. It's like, why is it? It's because some people that just have something they want, and yeah, it's sad that they can't accept that they need to share it. You know? That's what I think anyway. Exactly how you share the crown of heaven or the throne of heaven, or how you share Jesus' identity, I'm not sure how everybody becomes gods, but I'm pretty sure that I would just say, you want to be a god, mate. Let's see how you're going to work it, and then because you've got forever, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some innocent victims on the scale there that they have to sort of close their eyes to or overlook, and people who's using their demonology probably like to think that they're only damaging guilty people. So it's probably easy to get drawn into it. I think that you're participating in something that's a justice, whether it be a justice for the dead, for the living dead, or for the dead in the living. It's difficult to try and pinpoint all of that when it comes to demonology and being possessed and all that kind of thing. I mean, even just talking about it, you could expect people will just turn off, I'm not going to listen to it, it's a load of crap, can't get possessed, the dead can't influence you, but I have reason to believe different. And the people who were responsible for me when I was a kid also had reason to believe that the dead could influence the living. I'm not entirely satisfied with the result. I was defiled by people who use magic. They defiled me by getting me possessed by an old man when I was a little kid. And he went about defiling me and making me virtually unlovable to my family, to myself, and to the people around me. And I look forward to everybody finding out who he is. I mean, I'm not going to kill myself like they bargained for, but when they all get to meet him and find out, you know, exactly what sort of people it was, and they got me possessed as a little kid, and what kind of magic it was, and it's pretty much the same thing as what they're getting drawn into now. It's like, what should they do? Why know what I did? I went into church, gave my confession, and even while I was there, like I said, there was these women came into the church, all got their tops off, like topless fucking strippers or whatever, came into the church while even all the churches were there, and they were trying to tell them to put some clothes on, cover themselves up, and they wouldn't do it. They just helping themselves to the tea and coffee that was there. It was just, you know, I don't think there was any kids there for some reason, but there normally was a few kids at the church. I don't think the woman would have really cared anyway, or if they did, somebody bought their way in there. It's like a total disrespect for the pursuit of righteousness, and other people who's new to the Christian faith, were like infants in there. We don't need to be able to think that a Christian church can be bought over and have these perverts come in. You don't go to church to see strippers, and if you want to see strippers, you go to a strip club or a booby bar, whatever you want to call it. I was interested in getting my life right, getting myself off drugs, and this is going back to 2007. I think it was 2007, 2008, 2000, maybe probably even before then, 2000. It was early 2000s anyway. And had all these people come to interfere, defile me as an infant Christian because I've sold my soul, and called me a lamb. Horns started growing out of people's heads, including mine. And they all got a little bit excited about it, thinking that they had an antichrist or something like that. They had Satan next. But yeah, some strange things happened where I was around, and people saw me in two places. That these people took pictures of me. My mum's friends. I remember one of them name was Marcia. She was a witch. My mum was very adamant that she hated Christianity. Religion was a load of bullshit. She was going to be a witch. And she believed in witches, witchcraft, and demons, demonology, or do what we fucking like type of business. But she was very sad in her later in her life. She was stuck with somebody that she didn't really love. They weren't really in love. So she didn't want to be on her own. She told me. My dad too. He was miserable. When he was only he had a single car accident in 1989. But he had a woman he felt sorry for that came to live with him because she had nowhere to go, and he had a high class woman who wanted him and liked him and loved him or whatever, but didn't want to get married and didn't want to live together because she was a promotions manager for a big company, American company. She was the Australian promotional manager and or representative, something. But she used to get loads of perks, and she used to have. She's a promotions manager, promotions person, so they have a lot of perks. I reckon. Know a lot of famous people. It's probably in her best interest to be single, even if it was just for the sake of winning clients. Whatever, I don't know how it all works for all that. But my dad told me that about his situation and that he was unhappy when I was working in Melbourne. And he came to see me. He told me that. But, he was cooking amphetamines in the place where he worked. He was selling it through a biking gang, but that's had nothing to do with me. I mean, I can't verify that. It's only what I sort of clicked onto after like growing up and being used to fucking bringing in cocaine into Australia, and Dad didn't like dealing with jokers. They were almost notorious for selling absolute rubbish, amphetamines, and so he was keen to get with some people and cook up some rough gear. I guess I don't know a lot about it. I don't know anything about it except for at his funeral, all these people. There was thousands of people turned up there, and they were all people that he knew through his work and his business. And I never knew my dad to be before that to be a social person. He was more interested, seems to be more interested in working than spending time with his family. He seemed to always be doing something, but he was always doing something for the family. Like he built a camper van, built boats. He was very good that way, like providing for us. But because he was in a boarding school, he didn't really. It was like there was a piece missing pretty much all the time. My mum used to go into case about it, and she was just she was one of the worst influences for my wife after doing what she did when I was 12. I mean, doing that to any kid is just it's unthinkable. But all the people went along with it. I don't go. I mean, why do you need a son? Why does when you believes in magic or something that looked like a brass coin to me in Jesus language? In Jesus language, but it could be other things too, yeah, for sure. But in Jesus language, a brass coin has been given to him. You know, it could have been like a sun. It could have been a moon. You know, the moon looks like a golden colour at times. It could have been any of those things if people were to idolise the image more so than see beyond it into the reason that it was there, and it was there to help me to realised that the dead could influence the living because of I didn't realise what grandmother was doing, asking me these questions and getting me to make God and all these things. What I don't even want to remember. And I had to burn all this thing with a picture she knew, along with my toenails and fingernails and my hair. I look at my hair. Look, I don't know what the story is with this. Curses that these defilers use, but there is such a thing as the defilers being able to win over a nation, which is kind of what I'm witnessing at the moment. It's like just like these defilers, like Hell's Angels, took me into an adults only rally, bike rally, and they were all tripping on acid, and I was walking around among them, and was the only kid there, and I'm 82, Broadford, and there was some guys there who was watching what I was doing, and there was people I tried to talk to. They thought it was like they were protecting me from them being tripped. And I mean, even talking about this, people was going to say, there's no way he would have got in. And I was saying, I got in for free. I had horns growing out of my head. Mate, you would not believe it if I had to tell you. But these same people these days, I think, are a pack of dogs, because they benefit from these defilers who destroy kids' lives. They've just totally fucked them up somehow, and we're screwed up, whether it be from being humiliated about songs, or being gay, or being masturbating, or whatever it was that they humiliated us with, and broke our hearts with, and we've kind of had an empty space we wanted to fill, and we all found like we could find some meth would make us feel good. We could be stoned and have hallucinations, would distract us from the deep-seated resentment and general brokenness that was ruling over our lives. And these gods, motorcycle gods, other gangs too, have no conscience about actually making a life for themselves where they are able to have anything they want. Satanists, nobody asks stupid questions, but they could have anything, and a lot of them do. They have that much money and that much stuff. It's all a bit of a joke. It's by the look on their face, or by the I don't know. It's probably unfair to say by the way they look, but certainly there is the potential for those people who are posing as gods to influence other people who may be searching for a way to be successful and independent, which is pretty much what we all want to do. Since we're a teenager, we want to be independent from our parents, want to be, want to be able to provide for ourselves and even make our own rules. And I think that these gang members, bikies, other criminals, crime gangs, making all the money out of drugs and other crime, right on the same level as those defilers that defiled. And sometimes they want to join them, you know. You've been defiled and you have an opportunity to make money and to become a predator for the people who've been defiled, you know. Because a lot of people who've lived protected lives up into their, you know, like they're adults, they've got to stay at home when they're adults, and they have a very firm foundation in their life. They didn't move around. I don't know what a firm foundation is. I've never had it. But they never had to run anyway. These are the sort of people who don't fall victim to these gods, and these gods want to be like those people, and I don't know. I can get caught and I want it all sounds like a load of shit, but I guess in the long run, I think in the long run, we can have a look right through the whole life of everyone and everything. We will be able to see exactly who was on whose side. And that, I've got no doubt, just like in the Bible it says, there's people who's going to be sorry, so sorry, they're going to be so sorry that they believed in what they did to benefit themselves, to provide for themselves in this life. Already there are people who kills themselves, like my dad. He was, when I came back into his life, I was about 18, and he told me that he loved me. It was one of the only times I remember him saying it. And a few months later, he was dead. He had a single car accident. But my sister was trying to get me to break into his truck, and she wanted to take the truck to Geelong or to Torquay or somewhere for New Year's Eve. And I said to her, you haven't got keys here, you're going to do it. She said, the keys are in it. I said, why would Dad lock the keys in his truck? She said, just, he keeps the spare ones in there. So I was trying to break into the truck, and I think I might have damaged the door doing it. And once I got in there, I said, there's no keys in there. But she walked off laughing and said that I was fucked. Because I think there was something going on there. My sister's never, she's not really a sister, but anyway, she was trying to set me up to get into a fight with my dad, so that I would run, and I would leave town or whatever, and everything would go back to normal. But my personal opinion is that my dad was dealing drugs for these bikies, and his stuff would have been good. I know my dad, he was a perfectionist, and he liked to get things. He did a really good job of the things that he did. And the camper he made was awesome, and the boats he made was pretty good too. But he would have done a pretty good job of making amphetamines, and to try and tell those gods that they weren't getting any more drugs and that they'd have to find somebody else. You just can't say that to those people. Once it's like that's like they own you. If you start cooking amphetamines, or if you start doing that for those people, you cannot walk away from it. That's like they own you. They're the worst people in the world, and I look forward to meeting each and every one of them personally, and every one of the people that they damaged in their lives, and to see where their hearts go. It will be really interesting to see some of these. They're so cocky, mate. They're so cocky. They think that they've got it all, and nobody can touch them. You know, just dead set guns. dead set criminal cunts, and they're hiding behind a thing of they might be doing justice for somebody. Yeah. Um, some of their kids don't fare too well either from that. Well, my dad wasn't a bikie, by the way. He rode motorcycles. His dad rode motorcycles. His dad's brother was a pilot in World War II. That I would love to have tried in my life, flying, but I don't think I'll get a chance to fly my own plane. We get on somebody else's plane here. It's not the same. So now you know a little bit more about Uncle Don, and I've been trying to get one of my neighbours up here to talk to me. To talk on video too. He's got a schizophrenia as well. He has all sorts of ideas about what it is that his schizophrenia is, and I guess I could go into that, but we've already done about 30, nearly 40 minutes. We're looking here now, it's 36 and a half minutes, so I don't want to ramble on for too long. This is probably over a half an hour you'll never get back anyway, so I'll just leave it there. But I've been trying to get one of my neighbours to come up and talk on here too, so we can have a bit of a discussion about schizophrenia and what we think the motives of this debilitating disease are, and also the pitfalls of medication and psychotic episodes. They're really something that people with schizophrenia need to talk about. Psychotic episodes are so difficult to try and make people believe what you've been through, or what you believe you've been through, when it just sounds like a crock of shit. But that's how I can invent memories. So yeah, I want to get somebody else to get a conversation happening about it. It's been difficult to try and bring the world into perspective from just one point of view. It'd be really great to get a discussion happening. So I'll leave it there, and I'll catch up with you next time. Ciao for now.